everybody, welcome back to another Stitch With Me session. So, finally moved my frame, getting close to the end of this diagonal today. Okay. Let's see, how far does this carry? Okay. I want to see which length of thread I want to use. Depending on how far the path goes, I think we're going to start a full length piece for this area. Because yeah, the one that I have looks like it would be short by like one stitch, and that really annoys me when that happens. So we'll start a new one. Which of course means I'll probably be left with some leftover. Well, can't be perfect every time, right? Oh dear. Yeah. I don't want to catch another thread with my working thread. That would just make a tangle. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go down and back up. That other section over here is going to be with a new thread. It's just too far. And be less efficient in the long run. Oh, grid line is kind of loose, so I'm just going to tighten it up there. Oh, I think, you know what? I just realized I picked up the wrong thread. Good thing I double checked my grid lines. Yeah, I realized I was in the wrong spot. Those colors are very similar and very close to each other. I almost mixed myself up. But then as I went to stitch, I went, wait, that is too far above this grid line to be in the correct place, and realized I had grabbed the wrong thread. So that happens sometimes, but one of the reasons why I like to grid, like I always say, takes a little longer in the beginning, but then in the end it saves me so much time from making counting errors and frustration and having to rip stuff out that I did incorrectly. I also often grid ahead, so I sort of have my next piece of fabric already measured and cut and secured zigzag stitch with my sewing machine along the edges to keep it from unraveling. And I just sort of keep that one for when I'm watching TV and I want something to do with my hands, but I don't want to have to really pay as much attention like I do when I'm actually stitching. So, because it's kind of boring, so works well when you're doing a couple things at once. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's go back to this color. Yes, because if I do these two stitches now, Then I can do both of those triangle stitches in a row without closing anything in, as per my usual preference for stitching. Sometimes, like I've said, I do break those rules, and I actually did do that close by. I'll show you a little in a minute what I'm talking about. It was just the way I had one thread going one way and one going the other way, and either way, one of them was going to close in the other because they were different colors. And so I eventually just had to deviate from my guidelines and close stuff in. So I'm not finicky enough to say avoid closing stuff in at all costs. Sometimes the most efficient way, it just happens to be that way. I'm quite in awe of people who don't ever break their guidelines. I've seen people do their stitching where they never deviate past the diagonal line. They go completely straight. And I do not have that much discipline to do that. So it's further down here. You can see if I unselect a color here, so there's no colors selected. Now I can show you these two here are done already, even though I haven't done those ones there. That is just the way that happened to work out with that color. So I think that may be the first time I have done it on camera where I've broken my guidelines. But yeah, don't feel bad if you're using a similar method to mine, and sometimes you have to go outside of those guidelines. That's fine. In the end, it's all going to look the same, provided you put each color in the right place. So only you will know. I've even occasionally, when I stitched in the wrong color and it was so close in shade and you couldn't tell, I just left it. Because no one's going to know but me, right? I know some people will also, instead of ripping out, actually stitch over incorrectly stitched ones. I worry about the extra bulk, but then also when people have done that, I couldn't tell where it was unless they told me. And even then, you'd have to be like right up against squinting at it to see it. So I think it worked out just fine. Good, that was a short piece, but it was just enough to do those last 3 stitches. And then when I get to these stitches, it'll be in the next diagonal, and I will just join a new thread to do them. So there. Perfect. Oh, I misplaced my scissors again. Oh, as usual. Okay. So sometimes when I have a bunch of short little ones and they kind of don't want to stay wrapped around the magnet, I'll just kind of pick up the threads near them and just kind of twist them like that. Then the longer threads kind of help hold the shorter ones in place out of my way. Okay, so we've got quite a few of this color parked. Let's take a look at what their lengths are and what we wish to do with them. So I think that one, let's see, oh, I've got quite a few here, so it's hard to tell. That's a long one, but I think I'm going to be carrying that one that way. So yes, what I'm going to do is use the one that is parked here and then park it again lower down to the left in that corner, because that seems to be the most efficient use of my thread. Yeah, without such a long carry along the back. Goodness, there we go. I was having a hard time coming up without splitting the existing threads. I want them to, for the most part, lie next to each other and not going through each other when we can help it. Okay, so let's see. Yes, I decided earlier I have only one that's short to do these, so I'm going to start a new thread to do this one, and then park it below. Yes, that is how it worked out for me. Sometimes I plan a path and change my mind when I get there, but no, this time I like my original plan, so I'm going to stick with it. Okay, so one above the grid line, making sure I'm in the correct place. There we go. There we go. Oops. Accidentally highlighted the wrong symbol. No short pieces for once, but that's okay. Trying to move that grid line out of my way. But you know what? It's being stubborn, so I'm not going to fiddle with it. I'll stitch over it because it will slide right out afterwards anyway. I just try sometimes to not stitch over the grid lines because then I can still see them and use them as a landmark to help me stay in the correct place. But not if it's going to cause me more aggravation than it's worth. So not quite as much confetti in this section. So it's going a little faster. But I also enjoy the process too. I say this is my form of meditation. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I can see this one here is sort of already tucked out of the way. I'm not going to bother pulling it free. I'm going to leave it for the next diagonal. Okay. Perfect. Little short piece. This one that is in the corner. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go down and think and see what I can fill in here in this spot where I did it out of order. Yeah, I try not to do, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. But when I do have to, it kind of annoys me. So I'm going to fill it in now until it's no longer visible. There we go. Whoops. Try that again. Okay. Go. There we go. Okay. Not quite filled in, but soon all evidence will be gone. Okay, short piece, perfect. My goodness, what's up, Buster? It's not time for food yet. No, it isn't. That's my guinea pig again. Oh, she stopped begging. Yeah. Their diet is supposed to be mostly hay. They would eat lettuce and other vegetables all day if you let them, but it's not good for them to eat too much. They actually need to grind their teeth down with eating the hay. Yeah, they're Their incisors grow throughout their entire life, so if they don't eat enough hay that helps wear them down, they actually get too long. It can cause problems for them. Try to put that back in the correct spot in my envelopes. So I finally reached, this is the top of the garden wall in my pattern, so we're going to get to the little bridge and then the fountain soon. The fountain was my favorite part of this picture, what really drew me to this pattern. I mean, the trees are lovely, but yeah, I really liked the fountain and the swans, or maybe they're ducks, I'm not sure. Yeah, this will be just enough for that one last stitch there. Then the other thread will carry on for these symbol stitches. Okay, and that should be, I think, was just long enough for those 3. Yes, that is exactly what I planned. Perfect. Okay, so it's a number 3 in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, yeah, this up arrow first. Get it out of the way so that I can do all the number 3 symbol around that without closing anything in. Okay, so that's number 930. Again, I'm going to have multiple threads of this because that's just the way it will work out. So do this one and park it over to the right, carry that one, and then I'll have another one that goes over to the left. Okay, sure again. Use the correct space. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now, yes, perfect. Now I will work on this color here. So this one is going to snake back and forth a bit again, but that's fine. Oh dear, I made a knot. I hate when I do that. Yeah, I pulled a little too quickly and didn't smooth out quite enough, and now I have a bit of a knot here. See if I can free it from the mess I made. Okay, I think let's give it a try now. Aha, gotcha. Excellent. try to pick things through with the needle. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it actually tightens it up. So what you gonna do? Okay. Alrighty, so these three number threes. Around the corner. There we are. And then fill in this one. There. And now you can no longer see that I broke my guidelines and went out of order. It's all filled in now. So we will carry on. Actually going to take this one along with it, yeah, and just tuck those away. Okay, so again, I can see I have another one down over here. Let's find it and see how long it is to see what I'm going to do with it. So yes, this is long enough that it will carry over to the right, so I'm also going to carry this one over to the right to that next little group of these crescent moon stitches. If the other parked one had been too short, then I might have carried this and parked it down over to the left. It all depends. Okay. Another one that we can end off. Okay, and done. Okay, so oh my goodness, pardon me. Did not sleep so well last night, so yawning a bit today. Okay, right, and another one to end off, because that was a short bit. Perfect, yes, it was. 8, 3, 8. Okay. Let's take a look. So it's only 3 stitches in this diagonal of this color. Let's see what lengths we got to work with. Something feels loose back there. What did I do? Yeah. All right, there, pulled it tight. It's all good now. And again, I'm going to tack this down a little bit because the stitches between it and the next one where I'm going to park it are done. And I don't want that carry to be loose and potentially pull. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Mark what I have done. Okay, I think this one will be ended off because I think the other one parked here is long enough. Yes, it is. And there's one part in the next instance, so this one will just be ended off. So that happens sometimes when I end up with more threads than I need. I just end one off, and then I will use up the pieces left over for later. These are still fairly good length, so I will not have a problem using those in another spot. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Ooh, my goodness. All right, let's again see what's going where, how long the pieces are that I have to work with, and then figure it out from there what I will do. There we go. Oh, whoops. Forgot that wasn't in markup mode. There we go. Yeah, that won't work if it's not in the correct mode. because I'm going to do that one. Oh yeah, and again, let's check the other parked thread of this color. Yeah, that's pretty short, so this one will be parked over to the left. And then once it's done that stitch, it will be down and over to the right. There we go. Try not to unthread my needle. There really wasn't much point of keeping it on the thread, right? Okay. Go. So I'm getting to the center section of the sky, where it should go a little faster. There are fewer colors and bigger blocks. There we go. All right. I'll probably leave that one for the next diagonal, yeah. As I've said before, the diagonals are just a loose guide for me. So however the colors are, sometimes I go over. Oh, hang on a minute. Am I looking in the right spot? Oh, what have I done here? Hang on a minute. I can see that my pattern and my stitching are not matching. Oh, because I colored in that this one was done and it wasn't. It was parked. Ah, well, good. With gridding, it makes it a little easier. So now I know, yes, that's why. Because of course I didn't want to close in the stuff that was to the left of it when I can help it. So yeah, that happens sometimes, but especially when piece is gridded, it's usually not that hard to figure it out where I went wrong. Yeah, okay. Oh, that fluffy is being persistent. There we go. All right, so back over to the left to work our way back up to the right. 160. Okay. I unthreaded my needle by accident on the other side. And I don't feel like turning my work, so I'm just going to pull it back up to the right side so I can rethread. Okay. Done. Okay. There are some darker colors here, so I feel pretty safe to pin stitch this because it will be covered up, stitched over with other dark colors and will not show through. Okay. Quite a lot of this color all over the place. Okay. That one, yeah. It's too far to carry, as is that one. So I'm going to search for a shorter piece to use, which I think I probably have. I do. Excellent. Yes, that will work out quite nicely for those few that are there. I can see the one that is there is kind of loose, pulled loose from me messing around with it, so I will just, my goodness, I know which other the end of the thread is, so I just find that, yeah, just tug it back into place till it looks nice and neat again. Although I did do another video of how to tighten up a stitch that's gotten loose after, you know, you've stitched around it and nothing you pull on the back seems to want to tighten it up. Yeah, so and check out my tips and tutorials playlist for that one. Nice little trick I developed. Basically, you take a scrap piece of thread and loop it through the loose stitch and then pull that back to the wrong side and tie it off that way, and it tightens it up nicely, and you didn't have to rip out anything that you've already done. Especially useful when you stitched it quite a ways back and you're not even sure what color it is, so ripping it out would be a real nightmare. Helps you to avoid having to do that. All right, check that I'm parking this correctly. There's quite a lot of threads in this section. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I thought this one would be already threaded, but it's not. There we go. Okay, so we'll do a few more and then I think we'll be wrapping this up for the day. All right, so this is a fairly long piece. There's already one part down there to the left, so I'm going to carry this over to the right and again sort of run it along the back under existing stitches to tack down that carry. Since all the stitches between this one and the next one are done. Ensure that I have everything nice and secure. Actually, I can do this one here as it's right in the corner. Yeah, and then park it for the next diagonal. There we go. There you are. Ooh. There we are. Now let's see what I want to do with this. Make sure I'm grabbing the correct one. Yeah. So I'm going to do one little one, if I have it, for that stitch there. And I do. Perfect. Yeah, it's because carrying that back and forth is going to use more thread that way. Have lots of unnecessary carries across the back, so yeah, I prefer to do it this way. A little less bulk across the back. Yes, because this one I'm going to do that one and then park it below, and then when I get to that it will go along here and then more and more over to the right. So that will be the most efficient use of my thread, I think. All right, I think we'll do one more and then we'll be calling this a day. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you everybody who has liked and subscribed and left such lovely comments on my videos. I want you to know it's really appreciated. You make my day when you do that. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you here next time. All right, thanks. Bye.